You know the secant? Yeah, this one. Do you ever lie in bed thinking, the secant's not bad, but it's missing something? Well, I'll tell you what it's missing. It's not extreme enough. We need a function that's like the secant, but it's more extreme. Introducing the EXSECANT. This is exactly like the regular secant, except -1. Which makes it so much more extreme. But why was it ever used, you ask? Well, let's fire up our time machine and find out. The Wild West, where people are laying down railroads while forcing natives into reservations, thus creating lingering resentment and tensions that continue to cause issues to this day. Yay! Okay, remember kids, people didn't have calculators yet. They didn't even have social media. Crazy, I know. So instead to calculate trig functions, you had to have a trig table, which listed trig functions for every angle. And the reason there were trig tables for EXSECANT specifically and not just say secant or cosine is because when you use these formulae for values where these are close to 1, you get a loss of precision due to one of the more delightfully named phenomena. Catastrophic cancellation. Which is essentially when digits line up. So the secant of 1 degree is 1.00015, which is obviously very close to 1. So if we round it down to 1, the error is 0.015%. But if we use that approximation to calculate the EXSECANT of 1 degree, we get 0.00015, which is a 2% error from the actual value. And if we round up another decimal place, we're still using 4 right now, bear in mind, the error goes up to 31%. And if we round up another one, the error becomes infinity%. This is suboptimal to say the least, and if you've been paying attention, you'd realize that this problem would still arise even if you directly put values for the EXSECANT in a trig table. So there's also a bit of a complication. You don't put the EXSECANT in a trig table. You put the logarithm of the EXSECANT in. Watch, the log of EXSECANT 1 degree is negative 3.8172, and if you then take 10 to the power of that, you get 0.005% error. Even if you go down to just one decimal place, the error is just 4%. So that's why they use the EXSECANT instead of the secant or cosine, but why would anyone need to use it anyway? Well, that's why we're here. Railroads. Okay, so imagine you're a railroad company that advertises comfort. If your rail lines went like this, then you'd be liable to lose some business. So instead you use a circular arc for a curvy section, and the distance you're then diverging from a straight line turns out to be the radius of the arc times EXSECANT of this angle. But this in itself isn't perfect either, because of everyone's favorite subject, physics. Now here's a track which is two straight lines connected by a circular arc. If you notice, the centripetal force felt by the train and its occupants has a sudden jump as it enters the arc, because the centripetal force's equation has a term for radius, which is infinite for a straight line, but not infinite for a circle. A sudden change in force is something we're trying to avoid, so this is bad, and this is where mathematics saves physics' butt once again. We can insert a curve here that acts as a transition between the line and the circular arc, easing into and out of that centripetal force. Now it turns out it doesn't actually matter what the exact shape of this curve is to the surveyors, the people measuring and planning out the track. They're just mapping out some points for the people who actually lay down the track. And one of these points is this, which again needs the distance we're diverging from a straight line, which can be calculated by this formula, which is calculated with the EXSECANT. And I don't know about you, but to me that sounds pretty extreme.